Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We got a good crowd here today. Thank you all for coming. I'll go right into public announcements and upcoming meetings, and we'll move on. We have a town meeting will be held on Monday, May 1st at 7:30 p.m. at the Hanson Middle School. A quorum of 100 registered voters is required to conduct the town's business. The Old Colony YMCA will provide free childcare for town meeting. Old Colony Y staff is trained to work with children ages 5 through 12. Children must be toilet trained. Childcare will be held in the cafeteria. The library trustees will be hosting a Nancy M. Cappellini Family Fun Day at the Hanson Public Library on Friday, April 21st. There will be several children events from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. At 12 p.m., there will be a dedication of the Nancy M. Cappellini Children's Room. Light refreshments will be served. The public is welcome to attend. For more information on this and many other events, go to www.hansonlibrary.org. Green Hanson is sponsoring two events. On Saturday, April 22nd, from 8:45 to 11:30 a.m., the annual Cleanup and Green Up will be held starting at Town Hall. Volunteers are requested to bring gloves, boots, long-sleeve shirts and pants, and brightly colored clothes. On Saturday, April 29th, there will be a Bikes Not Bombs bike donation drive at 620 County Road behind Shaw's. Donations of bikes, bike clothing, gear, and helmets will be accepted. For more information, go to www.bikesnotbombs.org. For information on all the Hanson, for all the Green Hanson activities, check them out on Facebook.com at Green Hanson MA. The Town of Hanson 2017 street listing books are now available for purchase for $10 in the town clerk's office. And there are vacancies on the following committees: Finance Committee, 200th Anniversary Committee, and the Memorial Day and Patriot Observance Committee. Residents interested in serving on these committees should submit an application for appointment to the Selectmen's office. Applications are available online at www.hanson-ma.gov. Upcoming meetings. We have the final Plymouth County Hospital reuse meeting on Wednesday, April 20th at 4 p.m., Wednesday, April 19th at 4 p.m., and Wednesday, April 26th at 4 p.m.
At the police station.
All of them at the police station. Thank you, Donnie. And then we also have the Whitman-Hanson School Committee meeting. We'll be meeting tomorrow night at the library at 7 p.m. That is Wednesday, April 12th. The Historical Commission also meets Wednesday, April 12th at 6 p.m. And the Selectmen will be holding a meeting on Tuesday, April 25th, 7 p.m. This is the town meeting preview. The Selectmen will also be holding a meeting on Monday, May 1st at the middle school town meeting, and Tuesday, May 2nd, if we need it. Is that right, Mary?
Correct.
If we go over, at the middle school town meeting at 7 p.m. as well. We also meet on May 16th and May 23rd at 7 p.m.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Does anybody know when the candidates forum is?
I haven't received any information on when that is, no. So,
It's the
you know,
Sunday before Mother's Day.
It's May 7th.
May 7th? Thank you. Well, I'm sure when we get closer, we'll announce it as well. Before I move on to one thing, I just wanted to make a statement. We received a very nice letter from the town administrator in Rockland. On behalf of the town of Rockland, the Rockland Board of Selectmen has voted to express their sincere gratitude to the Hanson Fire Department for its assistance at the 7-alarm fire on Wednesday, March 22nd, 2017. This historic fire had the potential to become a conflagration of the Park Street and Webster Street neighborhoods. The quick response and hard work of all departments kept this fire contained to the building of origin with some minor extension to exposures. The Rockland Fire Department is grateful for the hard work of the Hanson firefighters and also for the command support you provide during the incident. So I want to thank you guys. Great job. And now I'd like to move on to Fire Chief Thompson to swear in Lieutenant Charlie Barons.
Actually, Lieutenant Barnes' crew worked that early morning, so they were there for 15 hours. I'd like to start by thanking the board for having us here tonight to swear in the newest member of our command staff. It seems like I'm here every 3 months or so, whether it's a new member or a promotion, but that's good stuff. Before we get on about Charlie, I just wanted to talk about our process. I see we have some current lieutenants and former lieutenants, and the process in which somebody must participate in to become a lieutenant in the Hanson Fire Department is a very lengthy process and takes a lot of dedication. So I just wanted to give the board a brief overview of what it consists of. Each candidate is given a list of reading material that they must study for 120 days, and then they have a 100-question test. They must score a 70 or better to move forward. Each candidate then moves on to an assessment center where they are assessed at a fire problem, where they are assessed at a multitude of things, whether it be basically what their job would be showing up as a company officer to a building fire, first on scene, what they're going to call for help, what they're going to call for help if they have enough help, what they're going to call in for other towns. So they're rated on that, and then the next portion is they're rated on an employee counseling program, which basically is they're presented with an employee that has some type of deficiency or problem, and they're rated on how they counsel that employee. So at the end of all that, it's all weighted, and the scores comes out and we establish a list. And that brings us to tonight, when we're going to swear in Lieutenant Barons, who is filling the vacancy that's created by Lieutenant Becker retiring after 36 years of service. So does the board have any questions on the process? No? Okay. So a little bit about Charlie. I'll write a little bit down. So Charlie is grown up in Hanson. He's a lifelong resident. He currently lives in town with his wife Tracy and his twins, Amy and Connor. He graduated from South Shore Votech back in 1997, which makes me feel old. Became a call firefighter on our department in 2001, and then in 2005 became full-time when he went to the Massachusetts Recruit Training Program and graduated in class 169. Addition to his regular duties as the commander of C Shift, he is also responsible for our public education in the schools and anything to do with the public, like CPR. He handles all that for us. So if the board doesn't have any questions, we'll have Ms. Sloan come up and swear him in.
We're glad
Questions?
he's with us.
Yeah?
You too?
Just save us some cake, will you?
We will.
You, Charles Barnes, solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as fire lieutenant to the best of your abilities and against the bylaws of the town and the laws of the Commonwealth. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Charlie.
Congratulations, pal.
So as we know, we're going to have his badge pinned on, and he's elected to have his twins pin the badge on, so.
Oh, this would be good.
That white shirt.
Who am I giving it to? You?
Your Band-Aids?
Good job.
Good job, guys.
You gonna give a speech, Charlie? No, Charlie's not gonna speak, so.
Man, a few words.
Again, I'd just like to thank the board for having us here tonight. Thank everybody for coming, and
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chief. That was the best pinning on the badge ever. Great job. You guys are welcome to stay or welcome to leave, whatever you'd like to do. All right? If I were you guys, I know the kids. Yeah, see ya.
Hey, it's dessert time, dessert time.
I got a couple. Yeah, I got a couple more over.
Oh, have the cake.
Could be.
All right, guys. Take care, Billy. Take care. Have a good night, man.
Oh, I had cake. What's your favorite ice cream?
Chocolate chip cookie dough.
Oh, wow.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Have a good night.
Have a good night. All right, Mary?
No,
A clean house.
Yeah. All right, why don't we move directly to
Donation?
vote acceptance of our donations, right. We have 2 donations, and I wish to thank, I guess these folks are okay if I read their names, right?
Yes.
Just want to make sure. On March 2nd, 2017, the Bastick family for $125 Elder Affairs it went to. And on March 16th, 2017, the Salvetti family for $25 went to the Recreation. So I would entertain a motion to accept these gifts as read.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Further discussion. I want to thank both families for their donations. As always, we're appreciative. Further discussion. Comments? All those in favor of accepting the gifts, say aye. Aye. 5-0, Mary. Okay, we have next on our agenda is the junk dealer's license renewals. This is for DMW Industries at 1282 Main Street, and that would be item 2 on your iPads. So this is to a junk dealer's license. This is to certify that license is hereby granted to DMW Industries Incorporated, DBA Atlantic Recycling at 1282 Main Street in Hanson.
Is that the place next to, behind the restaurant there?
yes,
Yes.
it's behind us all.
It's the guy that collects all the metal stuff. You go down there with
Correct.
metal.
Yeah,
and
it's the old
he
Casolis.
weighs it up and
Yep.
yeah,
That's
And
good
I've
to
checked
have.
with both the police and fire departments, and they have no issues with the renewal.
yeah.
Excellent. I would entertain a motion to accept the junk dealer's license
So moved.
of DMW Industries
Second.
Incorporated. Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. Okay, next on our agenda is the request for JR's Indian Head Pub to open earlier on Sunday, April 23rd fundraiser. And this was pretty cool. We've got a handwritten note here. You don't see these anymore. To whom it may concern, the purpose of this letter is to request an early opening on April 23rd, 2017. The reason for our request is to make it possible for us to serve breakfast to the beginning crowd of our annual REMC fundraising motorcycle run. Our normal Sunday opening is 12 noon. We would like permission to open at 10 a.m. serving breakfast. Thank you for your consideration. Sincerely, Diana and Red Rice at JNR's Indian Head Pub in Hanson, Mass. I would entertain a motion to accept
So
the
moved.
request to open
Second.
early. Motion has been made and seconded. We'll have to give that one to Bruce. All right.
I just have a quick question.
Sure.
They're just gonna serve breakfast prior to noon, they're not gonna serve alcohol till noon?
Right.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
I don't start drinking until 11
I mean, I
anyways.
know it's 12 o'clock somewhere, I just wanted to be sure.
We don't
Okay.
want them riding motorcycles.
No, yeah, we don't want them riding motorcycles. if
But I'm
they're
sure
gonna-
they won't be drinking at 12 either.
But this is pretty cool, so, all right, motion has been made and seconded. Further discussion or any questions? All those in favor? Aye. 5-0, Mary. And next we have on our agenda is the appointments. And it looks like Mr. Robert Arsenal is going to be busy for the next couple of years, right? Year, I think anyways, excuse me. We have an appointment for him to the Veterans Agent, term to expire March 31st, 2018. The Veterans Service Director, Mr. Robert Arsenal, term to expire also 3/31/2018. And the Veterans Burial Agent, Mr. Robert Arsenal, term to expire March 31st, 2018. I would entertain a motion to accept these appointments as read.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thanks to Bob for this, Bob, not Robin. Okay, the next item on our agenda is item number 3, old business, finalize and sign the town meeting warrants.
No, what item is it? 3 is the letter.
That should be items, the spreadsheets for special town meeting is item 4. The warrant for the special town meeting is 4A.
I'm sorry, I meant item 3 on the agenda,
Oh,
okay?
good recovery, Jim.
No, serious, it was. It was. Item 3 under old business, finalize and sign town meeting warrants, you're right.
Right.
It actually starts at item 4 on our iPads, and we start with the May 2017 special town meeting. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys, Mike, aren't we just going to review the items that we have not recommended?
Correct.
Okay, if you'll notice, on item 4, there are tabs at the top of your spreadsheet, right, Mary? Mary likes to throw it in and keep us...
Mary also gave us the hand ones too, much
Yes,
easier.
yeah, that's right.
That's easier.
But I like to keep sharp, so. So at the top is the April 11th, 2017 revised, which I think was excellent, Mary. Thank you, because now we can see what we had versus what we've voted on and what we've approved. So we had an article number 1, unpaid bills. Didn't we recommend that one too? No? I thought we had.
We hadn't recommended because I didn't have any numbers yet, and at this point, we still don't have any unpaid bills, so.
Oh, that's what,
we-
okay.
That's why we hadn't recommended it, so we can recommend it we can recommend to pass over at this point, or we can wait until the 25th, just in case something comes in. I don't anticipate any unpaid
Why don't you
bills, but
wait?
we can wait. The recommendations don't have to be done until the 25th, when at that point, I do the, after the 25th review, I do the informational warrant, which will have our full recommendations in, so
Okay.
we can hold it in case something else comes up.
What I should do, Mary, is I should open the warrant too, right?
No, we don't have to open the warrant, these are just recommendations, I don't think we didn't make any
No.
changes to
On
the,
anything? Okay,
to
cool.
the special.
I gotcha, okay,
And the same with the supplemental budget, we're still working with that with Todd.
okay. Yeah, there were only, so there was the supplemental budget, still working on, unpaid bills, still working on, that's fine. And then what about the 7 and 8, Mike? I know that those were, is it 7 and 8 was the name parcel after veteran? I know it was private property, we said?
Yeah, we talked with town council over the course of the past couple of days, and we may, on the floor, make a recommendation to actually state that this is more of a referendum, that the town, that the Board of Selectmen will do everything possible within its powers to promote the naming of this square. And the town council thinks that may be an appropriate way to at least get it out there in the public and get some sort of a agreement by town meeting that they'd like to go in this direction. But again, we can't necessarily bind a private entity, a piece of private property, to do something like this. Again, though, all indications have been throughout this process that the landowner is certainly...
Open?
Yes, very open.
Great.
But we just don't want to necessarily take a vote on town meeting floor that is in default, so...
That's cool.
So we'll make that change in the motion going forward when we get the final wording from Jay.
Currently, the article, as after talking to Jay, suggested we put in pursue the naming of, which will give us the ability to go forward with it. So that particular article was changed just slightly by adding the word pursue the naming of.
Okay, and what do? We just basically send a letter to the owner saying, could you please do this?
Bob Arsenal's already spoken to the owner, who's offered to let us use the property.
Right.
So, but we just can't go on there without
Yep.
getting a little more
I
authorization.
understand. All right, that's good. Thank you. So moving on to Article 9 is the school committee elementary school repairs for $87,000. We've not done anything on that, correct? That one has an itemized list of McQuon School Engineering Condition Assessment for $25,000, Middle School Recommission Engineering Study HVAC System of $15,000, McQuon Indian Head and Middle Replace Exterior Doors with Card Access for $22,000, McQuon Indian Head and Middle Industrial Style Ceiling Fans for $25,000.
I think...
Total comes to
I
$87,000.
think at this point, Mr. Chairman, we continue to await more or less the final school committee vote or indication as to how they wish to go forward on a number of things. That meeting is scheduled for tomorrow night.
Okay,
I am not sure whether or not they will continue on with some of the items that specifically address McQuon, given the fact that we know that it very well may not be a school come next year. So what I would recommend at this point is, we leave it on and we make whatever recommendations or whatever changes, either on the 25th or on town meeting floor.
Okay. For my own personal opinion, I guess, is I'm beginning to have second doubts of not doing an engineering condition assessment for $25,000 from McQuon School. Why? Because if we wind up not being able to sell the building or not being able to do anything with it, then we're tearing it down. We would have wasted the $25,000. Plus, am I not correct? But Bruce, didn't you also say, remember the previous study that was done on it?
Well, I
Is
brought
that-
a copy of that over to Mike. It's
Yep.
very, very thorough. It
Yeah.
tells you everything you ever wanted to know about the McQuon School, from the history of the McQuon School, to every single system in there, the condition of the system, and every single subsystem. I mean,
When
it's
was it
very
done?
thorough. 3 years ago.
Yeah, so it may not be worthwhile, just something to think about,
I mean,
guys.
it sounds like redundancy to me, but I
Yeah.
mean, maybe they've got something else in mind. But
Yep.
from what I understood, it was to prioritize the various systems that needed to be replaced and when they should be replaced and put them in order. From what I understood with this engineering study, was that your understanding, Mike?
Yes, it was, yes. I think in all practicality, that the fact that this school will, as we've discussed, come into the possession of the town, well, it's already in the possession of the town, but will be handed back over to the town next year, or the following year, I should say. It really is, I think it's at the discretion of the Board of Selectmen at this point, whether or not they wish to spend the $25,000 going forward. It's, it's on us at this point, you know. So if we are I should say the board, are in concert in terms of how they wish to move forward, I really don't think it's something that the school committee would necessarily take any umbrage at, so.
Right. I agree, Mike, and I know we talk about 22,000, I'm guessing it's around 11,000 each school. No, that's not right, I'm sorry, my math is way off. It would be about $7,000 or $8,000 per school, right? 7 threes are 21, so about $7,500. I don't know if we still want to continue replacing the exterior doors with, at McQuon, but it's optional, we can transfer the cost, but again, if we wind up tearing down the building, it's wasted money. I don't know if we could probably wait the 18 months, which is what we talked about last time. And finally, certainly not getting the industrial-style ceiling fans. When I last spoke to Chairman Hayes of the school committee, he did say that I think they were going to itemize these items in terms of what they were costs for McQuon, so we may be adjusting them at the town meeting.
Yes.
So,
We should definitely wait and see what they come up with tomorrow night.
absolutely, yeah. Did anybody else want to say anything to those, or no? I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I agree on the engineering. If it's the same report, why spend the money again? If it's 3 years old, I mean, if it's gonna be the same information, I think that's a waste of money.
Right.
I didn't realize one was done 3 years ago.
Okay, great. So we're going to leave that one alone. The next one we have is Article 11. This is the transfer to stabilization of $25,000. And I don't know why. Why didn't we recommend this one? Do I know why, Mike? I don't remember.
We weren't sure where the budget was going to end up in terms of
whether
what
we had the
excess
money?
money we would have.
Yeah.
However, my understanding is that it's been traditional for the town to put that $25,000 in. It's generally available. I would recommend that we go forward with it at this point, and if something dramatically changes, again, it's something we can pass over at the meeting if the $25,000 is not available.
So,
Motion to recommend.
well, don't we have to open the warrant first, or no?
No, just
No.
recommendation,
No,
we
no,
don't have to.
You don't have to, okay. Motion has been made to recommend.
Second.
Second. I'm in agreement, Mike, and hopefully,
We should add Article 11 in that motion.
yes,
Yes,
Sure.
sorry.
that's okay.
Article
Take care of
11.
it.
Yeah, I
Motion
already
is-
had it typed in. It says we go.
Motion has been made to recommend Article 11, which is transfer to stabilization of $25,000. It's been made and seconded. Has it been seconded? Kenny, did
Yes.
you second it? Yes. Further discussion? Any other comments to this? All right, why don't we call the vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
Rainy day money, put it away. All right, and I think that's it.
Yeah, I believe
That's a
so.
special town meeting. That's cool. All right, moving on to the annual town meeting items. It should be white paper.
Yes. I try to color code to make it easier for you
You
guys.
do, and thank you very much. They help to me. Okay, so we have open Article 4, which is to see if the town will vote to fix the salary and compensation of all paid elected officers and committees of the towns as follows. And these numbers are true, is that correct, Mary? The fiscal year 17 and 18?
Yes.
Town clerk is $65,887. Fiscal year 18 is $67,187. The tree warden is fiscal year 2017 at $2,995. Fiscal year 18 is $3,055.
Oh, he got a big raise, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh, what,
60 to $60.
Yeah, yeah, $60. So, would I entertain a motion to recommend Article 4,
So move.
Second.
the annual town meeting? Motion has been made to, and seconded. Further discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
5-0, recommend, Mary. Article 5, to determine what's, I'm
We
sorry.
want to hold that because we don't have the final budget. We can do that on the 25th.
Oh, I
That's the whole
apologize.
budget article.
Yep, okay. So we're just gonna hold off on this one, and then we're also gonna hold off on Article 6, which is the override. We don't have the numbers yet.
Well,
Correct?
unfortunately, we do need to put that in going forward. It's, we've put a number in, actually, in the ballot, towards the end of the warrant, we put a number in because you specifically need to have a number on the, we put to be determined. I apologize for that.
That's okay. I was watching you.
Yeah, I know, you're kicking me under the table. Because actually, with an override, with an operational override, with any override, it actually takes two procedures, the town meeting vote as well as a ballot vote. So what we have done is, in the question, the article, we have put in the maximum amount.
No.
We put in the
We did. We did not do that. After talking to Jay, what we did is, the verbiage in the actual article reads,
Oh, that's right, to be determined.
available fund,
Yeah.
an additional sum of money for paying the town's assessed share for the school's budget. That's how the article will read. When it goes to once they decide what if they're gonna go for the override and they know what the number is, the school committee will move it with the exact amount of money that they want for the override.
And what that allows us to do, so there was some concern, and I think the chairman touched upon it in one of the previous articles on which he was speaking. The concern is, their meeting is tomorrow night. We need to act one way or the other this evening. We need to get this warrant out per your bylaws, per the town of Hanson bylaws. And the concern was that we only are aware of the vote that was taken several weeks ago in which the assessment came in at 11.5%. So we wanted to base whatever we did tonight off the worst-case scenario, and I don't mean that in a mean way, but, so the thought process had been, we should put in the delta between what we have put in the budget and what the 11.5% increase would mean, which comes out to be about $404,000. So moving forward, the idea was that we would put that amount of money in the article with the knowledge that if, hopefully, there is an agreement that brings the number down. If not, maybe eliminates the override altogether. You can always bring a number down that's on a ballot, it's on a warrant at town meeting. You can't increase it. So, but as Mary just pointed out, and we had the discussion this morning, we can put it in without the amount.
Okay.
The real kicker comes with, and I'll just get to it now because it's all kind of wrapped in together. At the end of your warrant, you have traditionally put in the verbiage for the ballot questions as well as the offices that are going to be voted upon at the annual election. So we have, at this point, through town council, determined that the warrant can read to be determined.
Okay.
But when the ballot, hopefully, like I said, after Wednesday night, because town clerk will have to go forward and actually put an amount on the ballot that will be voted by the townspeople of Hanson. Hopefully after Wednesday night, Thursday morning, we will know if there's been any movement in the money. If not, that maximum of $404,000 some odd dollars the actual number will be printed on the ballot, and we will be able to get that money to Beth, that number to Beth to move forward, so.
Okay.
It's a little tricky. It's unfortunate because usually these numbers, this information is usually had been determined prior to what we're doing this evening, which has led to a little bit of the confusion. But my understanding is Whitman's just had a little bit of a problem trying to figure out what they can and can't do, so. And my understanding as well is Whitman has informed the school committee where they are and what sort of money they can come up with. And again, that'll be discussed tomorrow night, and Thursday morning we should know where we are going
Do you know
forward.
where we stand right now and how much Hanson is going to be able to
Afford.
to give as far as the actual budget is concerned?
There is more money in the budget that we can allocate towards the assessment of the schools. However, in our discussions, we're waiting to see what the final figure that the schools can come back with, so that we might be able to meet in the middle.
Oh, okay.
I can tell you, I spoke to Bob Hayes this morning, and they're doing everything they can to try it so that we could actually have bypass this, maybe at town meeting, so maybe we won't need an override.
Well, if they come in, if they come in with a figure, again, that both Whitman and Hanson can afford within their budget, no, it won't be necessary.
Yep.
But there needs to be, obviously, a significant amount of movement from 11.5%.
Right.
There's no way, and we've stated this on a number of occasions, and they're aware of it, there's no way that we could come up with that amount of money, of the 11.5, without a successful operational override.
And that's not to guarantee it, it's just to say that they're striving and working toward it, so I know
Yeah,
Christine,
yep.
Suko, and Dr. Ruth, everybody's moving toward doing their best on it. So hopefully, I'm anticipating a number tomorrow night, Bruce. I don't know if you're gonna be at the meeting, but
Oh,
the school committee meeting at 7 PM at the library, the high school library. All right, so that one is to be determined. The next one we had was Article 7,
To be determined.
to also be determined, right?
That's ongoing.
Yep, that's the ratify union contract. Moving on from that one, we have Article 14, which is the Capital Improvement Committee, the approve the matrix. Did we get a copy of the matrix, Mary? In our
Not yet.
packets?
where is it?
I would anticipate we'll have that for the meeting on the 25th.
Okay,
Oh, we don't have it yet?
we don't have it yet?
No,
To be
no.
determined, right?
Yes,
To
we
be-
do not have it yet.
All right, cool. Moving right along. The next one we have is Article 18, which is fund next phase of McQuon Street rehab. And that's free cash. That amount is to be determined, I take it?
Well, that's a bit of a question at this point. We have received information from the state, which has pegged the estimated amount of that project at $6.2 million. The town of Hanson needs to come up with 10% of that amount. Generally, it's allocated towards planning and engineering and design. So the amount goes up that we would be required to contribute to $620,000. I believe that we had anticipated that number to come in at around 400 or so. And we also, need to get some input from the town planner that we haven't been able to get yet. Did she end up on
I
it?
actually spoke to her
Did you?
today. She
Yeah.
has a meeting with
Okay, good.
the group next week, and will give us a
Beautiful.
better idea.
The question is, we're wondering whether it makes sense at this point to put that question on the fall town meeting, the fall special town meeting, when we have an idea where we are with free cash, after free cash is certified. And the question that the town planner is going to bring to this meeting that Mary mentioned is, would there be any issues in terms of a delay of 4 or 5 months in
Yeah, right.
funding that?
I was just gonna
So-
ask that, Mike. Good.
So at this point, You know, we would recommend that you hold off on that till the 25th as well, when she will have gone to that meeting and give us an idea of whether or not it's plausible to push that out to fall.
Yep.
When we might be in a better cash position from the certified free cash to fund at least some of that amount, a good chunk of that amount, since it's moved up a considerable bit. I know that the selectmen are very interested in moving forward with this project, so it's not something that we want to, take lightly and make decisions inappropriately or quickly, so.
How did we account for the change in the number, Mike, from 400,000 to 620? Because the state came in with a new number?
Basically, the state,
Basically?
and Don,
Last week I got at the meeting, and they have accepted the project. But during the time since it started, it's gone up from 6 billion to 7.5 million. And it's the way the cost of living has gone and prices and everything.
Okay.
I thought the original number was 300,000 for the engineering. Didn't it start out at
It
300,000?
was 400,000. We already gave him 348, did we?
No.
No.
We gave him.
We put aside 50.
40.
We only put aside about 45 or
Right,
50,000. We were gonna-
45,000.
Yeah.
right.
But when it was first
It's still on the
presented,
docket,
initially it
it
was
has been
presented, it was
accepted.
300,000.
yeah.
So now it's gone, it's doubled.
Yeah.
See, the unfortunate thing with these sorts of projects, and Don can attest to this as well, having participated in Old Colony for quite some time, is you put something on the tip and it languishes, and it languishes, and it moves with the speed of a glacier. So that you have these cost adjustments, because these things sometimes are scheduled 10 years out, and sometimes they're bumped. If there's an emergency in an adjacent, somewhere in the county or somewhere within the RPA, you can get pushed back even though you've had some good feedback and your project has been moved forward. So it's very fluid, and unfortunately, because of that fluidity, you get these sorts of
Well, at what
adjustments.
point do they stop and say, hey, look,
Hopefully-
how do we know next year they don't say, sorry, guys, now it's 900.
I-
Sorry, now it's 1 million.
I
That's
believe,
what we're going through
At
now.
what point does it stop and they say,
I believe
we're
we're
gonna
close
cap
to
you
the
guys
end.
off right now?
Because now it is getting up to the very top in terms of scheduling, in terms of programming.
Mr. Howard?
They have a schedule, and they get so much money every year. It's in the millions of dollars that they divide up amongst the different projects in the different towns.
Okay.
And I was told last Thursday that we have been accepted in the project,
Okay.
so that I don't know the time schedule in between now and the next,
Yep.
when it's going to be put on. But what they do is they put on the project, and they put the amount of money into it.
Right.
And then it goes from there. So
Okay.
we're in the process of going from blank page to having the money put on there.
So is it possible, too, that the state changed the amount on how much they decided to contribute to, Mike, or no?
No, it's
That
the
could- that
amount of
could-
money,
No,
it's the
it's
amount of
always-
money we
It's all
contribute.
expenses and costs?
Well, it's always 90%, we kick in the 10% for
Okay.
the
We only
engineering
pay
and such.
10%.
Okay, gotcha.
And the letter to which Don refers is right here. And indeed, it does say that it's eligible for federal highway.
So are we gonna remove this article, or what are we doing with it?
We'll leave it for
Keep it
now.
there.
We'll leave it for
Pass
now
over
because we can pass over it.
Okay.
As I said, as Mary mentioned, the town planner will be going to a meeting fairly soon to get an idea of whether a delay until
If
October
it affects anything
would
in the
affect
delay.
anything.
Right.
I would suspect that it doesn't, but
I hope it does.
let's, yeah,
Let's see what she
So we'll
says.
find out one way
Yeah.
or the other.
and
Okay.
we'll know that by the 25th.
Okay, thank
So
you,
we'll
Don,
put-
thank you.
To be determined on that one, possibly moving to fall. Next article I had open, two of them are petition articles. One was for the Violence Intervention and Prevention, the other one was on the South Shore Women's Resource Center. If I'm not mistaken, I think these were private organizations that we found out that we
What
cannot,
numbers were those?
those are Articles 31 and 32. And we can't do anything on them, but because they are petition articles, we have to keep them on the warrant.
Yes, and again, as we mentioned previously, town council will be at the meeting and will address the issues with these particular two articles.
Okay.
Do we have to vote whether the recommend it?
No, we can't. No, I wouldn't.
No, they can vote a
Why can't we
recommendation.
not
Well, you can
recommend
vote,
it?
yeah, you can
You
vote a
can-
recommendation. You can recommend or not recommend, you certainly can do that. But the question being, or not the question, the fact being that we do need to regardless, because they are petition articles, although faulty, we will need to present those at town meeting.
I think the intention was there, Mike. I
Oh, of
just don't
course,
think
no, it's
the,
good intention, by all means.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that. We couldn't do it.
I
No, it's funny
ran into a
because-
similar thing when I was on a board in another town, we wanted
Years
to do
ago,
that
that
without
article for
trouble.
the
It's illegal
socio
anyways.
women's,
Can't Town council's gonna. say
socio women's council, we used to have an article every year for that.
Yeah.
We used to vote it, and then finally it was determined that it was not a legal article.
It's not
And
legal.
then it came off. Now it's resurrected, it's come back.
But even if you voted not to recommend,
Right.
it's not a legal article,
Yeah.
which there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
No,
No.
I just
It's
don't
showing we're
want,
not supporting it.
right.
I support it, but I just don't
I'm just
recommend it
surprised to
because
see it
it's
coming
legal.
back again after it was ruled that way years ago.
What should we do with this, Mike?
Like, could they stand out in front of the town hall before the meeting and collect, or no? Like they do when they vote? I don't see why they can't, right?
Collect what?
Remember they have a
It's not
bucket
po-
with the
it's not
kids who do that
political,
for dollars
so-
for scholars and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's not political.
You know what I mean?
So, yeah, I wouldn't see any reason why that wouldn't be allowed.
Could we mention that to the young lady who proposed this?
I think there was two
There was
separate
two, right?
entities, yeah.
Two people.
Yeah. We certainly don't want to walk away saying the town, the Board of Selectmen, are not supportive of these sorts of efforts, of these sorts of concerns. It's just, as, Selectman Young just pointed out, it's not allowed, unfortunately.
Right. No, I'm hoping maybe something like that. That might be a good idea. Hopefully they're watching tonight. If I could get their phone numbers, maybe I could get them, either one of them. I'll give them a
I
call.
believe we could probably find that. I don't think we have their numbers, but we obviously have their street addresses.
Or email
on the-
address. Yeah, whatever.
On
I'll find.
the petition, so I'm sure that we can track down how to get hold of
I
them.
still think we should vote on this.
You can make a
Recommend or not
motion.
recommend?
You
Yes.
can make a motion to recommend it, but it's in my.
No,
Or
the
not
other way.
recommend.
No, I.
Make a motion to not
Either,
I'd like to make a motion to not recommend Article 31 and Article 32
On the basis of legality.
on the basis of legality. Thank you, Mr. Young.
So we're voting not
I'll
to.
second.
Yeah, I made a motion not to recommend those two articles.
Okay, so further discussion?
I think the people need to see where we stand on these, and then town council can elaborate from there at town meeting.
Right.
That's just my opinion.
Nope. I just don't want it interpreted that just because you're not recommending it doesn't mean that you support either organization. Does that make sense?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No.
No, it makes sense what I'm saying, right?
Yes, yes.
Just making sure.
You knew that.
Okay, I'm with you.
Yes.
That was just a double negative.
You are making
Yeah,
it.
double negative on it. Woo. You know? Okay, so, further discussion, any questions? Let's put it to vote. So we have a motion not to recommend the two petition articles due to legal representation, due to legalities. How did you phrase it, Bruce?
Yep, legalities, you
Due
got
to
it.
legalities.
Legalities.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
5-0. It doesn't matter, and again,
Thank you.
we all support the two items, we just don't support them because they're not legal. All right, then the last one, no, that's it,
that's it.
right?
That's it, you
That's
did it.
great.
Oh, I apologize. We actually removed an article, and we're going to reintroduce it in the fall. That article is for the borrowing for the septic system up at the camp.
Camp Kawani?
Yeah, it made more sense when we talked through it within the last couple of days or so, that what we will ask our engineer to do is to move forward in terms of any further design work and then putting it out to RFP, with the thought that the timing would be such that we'd have an accurate figure based on the bids to go to town meeting with, so that we're not requesting more money than necessary.
Okay,
So the timing is such, and I believe we talked about this at the last meeting, that we had made the decision that it made more sense for the actual work to take place after the season ends
Yes.
this year, which would be, in the late September, October timeframe. So since we're not going to start till then anyway, it made sense for us to wait ask for the money at the fall town meeting, the fall special town meeting, again, when we actually have some hard figures that come in from the bidders.
So we can do that on the 25th, Mike, because, or do we have to put a space? Do we have to put a space in the warrant?
Do you want them to go to open the warrant and pull
Yeah,
it out?
actually,
Because they already
You know what I'm
did that.
saying?
They should
Open the
be.
warrant.
Yeah,
and put it-
technically
Pull
open
the
the warrant.
article.
Would it be Article 34?
It had been Article 18.
Okay.
When I
You're
printed
grouping them.
everything, I had already pulled it out.
I gotcha. So you're
Just to-
grouping them, and you're grouping them by department too, I think, right, Mary? Or by
I'm
relative?
not really sure where, we had originally tucked it in
Somewhere in the middle.
in 18 because we had pulled something else out. We had, just to add confusion to this, we
Okay.
had pulled the Plymouth County, the care and custody of Plymouth County Hospital to conservation, the article that conservation had requested.
Yep.
We pulled that article, and in its place, we popped in the recreation borrowing article.
Okay.
So it would have been, Article 18, had we left it in.
Okay. Mr. Howard?
Is everything running up there all right now, functioning or working
Where?
at the recreation?
Yeah, we did the cost
You're
analysis.
just gonna rebuild the whole system there.
All of it, yes. The thought process was, and we took.
Well, I
the-
didn't want it to be used if it wasn't functioning right.
No, well, what's been going on for the last several years, Selectman Howard, is we have to have it pumped on a regular basis.
It's 2 weeks, every 2 weeks.
And it costs some money, it costs, I think.
Oh, it costs a lot of money now.
It was like $4,000 or $5,000
I
to
know.
do that over the course of
Yes.
the season.
I know.
So I would entertain a motion to open the May 2017 annual town meeting warrant.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. And we are doing this on the basis of adding back the warrant for the design work at Camp Kawani Septic System.
No, we're
We're moving.
pulling it.
Pulling it,
Pulling it.
apologies.
Yeah, with the anticipation of putting it on in October.
With the, I see, with the anticipation of putting it in on October. I
Yeah.
got you, okay. So, which one are we pulling, can I ask?
Well, it would have been 18 had I left it on the list.
Oh, I see, so you've already taken
I'd
it out,
already
basically.
taken it off
And
to-
now we're just doing the necessary paperwork. I
Right.
got you, okay. Wanted to make sure I was clear on that. So, all right, motion has been made and seconded to pull that article.
No.
Yes.
That's to open to warrant.
I'm
We
sorry, you're
haven't
right.
voted on
We're
it.
just opening the warrant.
Right, motion, I would entertain a motion to pull the article, design work at Camp
No,
Kawani.
we didn't vote on, we didn't vote on the warrant. We
You have to open the
made a
warrant
motion
first.
to open the
Oh, I
warrant.
thought we already voted, I
Yeah, we
apologize.
did.
Okay. All those in favor of opening? Aye, 5-0, I apologize. I'm jumping the gun. Now we want to
Remove it.
entertain a motion to pull article, that is Article 18, which was the design work on Camp Kawani Septic System.
So moved.
Second.
That's it. Further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And that'll be entered in the fall?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry for that confusion.
I'll make a motion to close the warrant.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made to close the warrant. Do I hear a discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 5-0 to close the warrant. Moving on, next is the town administrator's report. Mike?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm happy to report that we have come to a conclusion on who we would like to hire to the part-time treasurer collector position. I will be bringing that name before the board on the 25th of April for you to ratify the hire. She is currently going through the necessary query and medical, she's going for her physical. So I don't really want to announce her name right now because I want to make sure she gets through all that, but we're very, very comfortable, we're very, very happy with the person that we have chosen, and on the 25th, we will bring her, I believe we'll bring her before you to meet you and ask for you to, again, ratify our selection. We got a letter back from Representative Cutler and Senator Brady. It's in response to the letter that the board sent a week or so ago in regards to our hopes that they would try to help protect local aid to the amount that the governor had suggested, among other items, to include the increases in per-student contribution from the state. So they, and of course, they made the commitment they're going to continue to work forward to try to help with those things that we've requested. As it so happens, we did find out that the House budget, which came out in the last day or so, has recommended an increase from $20 to $30 a student. It's a move in the right direction. However, obviously, we'd like to see it go up more, so perhaps the Senate version will recommend a higher per pupil contribution.
I think we're trying for 50, right?
Yeah.
55, isn't it?
Well, that was
And-
last year.
And I believe that there is an effort
55 then
afoot.
Permanently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe there's an effort afoot to make it a permanent increase. So we appreciate the letter back from our representatives on Beacon Hill, saying that they will continue to support what we find very necessary in the budget process. I also would like to mention that Representative Cutler has asked us if there are any additional items that that we would like to see him include in the supplemental budgets, the outside provisions of the state budget. He needs to know that by tomorrow. We only received that information within the last couple of days or so. And if it meets with the board's approval, I'd like to tell him that we'd like him to try to find the same funds, fund the same projects that we requested, the town requested last year, which was namely $30,000 for improvements at the camp and $20,000 for testing and monitoring of the pond right behind us, Wampatuck.
Do you need a vote on that, Mike, or do you?
I think
General
that just the
consensus?
general consensus is sufficient.
I say do it.
I do too.
Okay. All right, I'll move forward, and I'll make sure he gets that information tomorrow. 'Cause-
I don't know if this pertains to anything, but I got a question. I notice every half an hour or so on the TV, it comes up on the screen, you people are missing out on $2-point-something billion. It must be in the lottery, and
Really?
it's been on for years and years and years. Why can't Governor Baker take $2 billion and put it to all the cities and towns? Because nobody's collecting the money, and it keeps coming up on TV.
Oh,
Anybody
you're
seen
talking
it?
unclaimed money.
Yeah.
Because they can't, it's not their money to spend.
I know, but it's been on for years. How long is it gonna sit
The
there?
list changes every year.
Yeah.
It does.
I'm not sure.
You should check it. You may have money
Call the
there.
number,
Yes.
you may have unclaimed money.
I've checked it many times. And I know my name is never there.
I'm not sure if that money, Dawn, needs to sit in perpetuity.
It does, there's achievement laws, there's very specific laws around that money.
Yeah, but when you find money, you give it to the police department, it sits there for a year, and then if you go back and nobody claims it, you can get it. Can't it work the same way with that?
Well, no, this is like insurance money, bank accounts, it's like all of those types of things.
And their
So-
names affixed to them, to that
I
sort of
think it's a
stuff.
waste sitting there. I think it should be used for all the cities and towns.
Well, then ask Representative Cutler to
No, I'm
write
gonna
a
talk.
bill.
That's where
I'm gonna
it
talk to him
belongs,
about
yes.
it.
Johnny, in defense of that program, I got about $56 out of it because I had sold stock one time.
Oh,
So there
really?
was a residual amount. I found out, they notified me.
Did you spend it already?
It was like 8 years, yeah, I did. And I got it too, so. But yes,
I like your thinking though, Mr. Howard.
yep,
Well, it's a lot of
Mike.
money sitting there.
yeah. What else, Mike? Were you done? I'm
What else?
sorry.
No, I got a few more things. I wanted to let the board know, and we've touched upon it a couple of times in the previous meetings, that I spoke with a representative from the Massachusetts Office on Disability, and we do believe that we are eligible for potential reimbursement for any of the ramp work that needs to be done at the food pantry.
All right.
In addition to that, I believe I mentioned that our town clerk had gone to a town meeting in Duxbury and had seen in use some hearing aids for people who were hard of hearing at the town meeting. And we would also be eligible within that grant to obtain a few of those. So I'm going to, with the help of the department heads, move forward on that grant request. So I was happy to hear that. I just wanted to hear that back from before we went through the process of spending time putting the grant together, because sometimes they can be very time-consuming.
Okay.
I wanted to let the board know, and I'm very pleased about this, and I think Selectman Mitchell is aware of this as well, that there has been an awful lot of work done at the old police station via the crew that the sheriff of Plymouth County provides to the various communities in Plymouth County. The place looks great. They're completely painting the inside. They're making repairs to the walls. In addition to that, they have on the crew a licensed plumber and a licensed electrician.
Great.
So for just the cost of the materials, and it's been rather insignificant in
Sure.
terms of the cost, they are doing a number of repairs up there that we could have never afforded.
Right.
So within the course of the next week or so, the building is going to take on a new life in terms of, the water's going to work again. Apparently, there were issues with the hot water there. There were
Yeah.
issues with the heating there.
Oh, yeah, too.
They found leaks that they're repairing. And again, for the cost of, what did we get, Mary? A bill from Ace Hardware of about $50 this week on some of the things they're doing. The real value is in the fact that we don't need to pay for an electrician or a plumber the hourly rate. So we're getting hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of dollars worth of service out of this program, which is just a wonderful program, which I've used in pretty much every community in which I've worked. And we certainly thank the sheriff for providing that invaluable service to get work done that we just wouldn't have the time, the expertise, or the money to do. So
I know
it's just great.
we sent Brian Clemens up there
Mhm.
once, twice, right? Fix the flapper on the toilets too, yeah, so.
So we're going to have, the building's going to be in great shape when they're done. Oh, and we also feed them lunch, so I think
Did
that's
you
a pretty
donate
good, that's a
that
pretty
lunch?
good deal.
Not yet, but we will be.
Well,
Yeah, no, they were there all weekend.
Yeah.
They were there today,
that's great, Mike.
so
Yeah.
they still have a lot more to do, but like Mike said, it's just costing us. Parks and Fields is gonna pay for some of it, but it's gonna be minimal. And if you hired somebody to come in and do the work that they're doing, it would cost you thousands, like you
Yep.
said, thousands of
Yep.
dollars, so.
We did
It's gonna
the
be
old
nice,
fire
'cause
station on Main Street that way, too.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
all the sports groups will have their own room to have meetings. If there's any registrations for baseball or girls softball, they'll be able to come in and have their registrations right there in a nice, decent environment, not with trash and boxes and rubbish and everything there.
Water that doesn't work and heat that doesn't work, it's
Yeah,
all going to
so
be, it's all going to be
That's,
fixed.
it is nice to see. And then the next step is we're gonna put a sign out front, that says girls softball signups, Monday, baseball signups on Tuesday or whatever the program is. It just can't flash, it has to be fixed for 24 hours, so that'll be next that we're working on.
So this is the Hanson Sports Center, right?
Yes, Hanson Sports Complex.
Complex, okay.
And as Selectman Howard just pointed out, apparently several years ago, the crew came up and did some work on the station on Main Street. That's the next project that they're going to undertake. They're going to do some cleanup of the exterior of not only the fire department, the old fire department building, but also the old fire relief, fire association building that we own now. So, I thought it was kind of hypocritical of me to say that I wanted to see the town do some things, and some of the owners on Main Street to do some things to spruce up their properties, while we're sitting on one or two properties of our own that need some attention. So, as I said, that'll be the next project that the sheriff's department comes in and does for us, so.
And the other thing, Mike, is the inmates that come out, they're not in there for a hard time.
No.
It's guys like that have like a drinking and driving. or
Exactly.
He had suspended license 3 or 4 times, didn't listen, and so
Exactly.
they're all, minor. Every offense is bad, but they're minor offenses.
They're-
Any drug convictions or anything, they don't come out on the program. So.
And they're always with one, if not more, CO, so, and a lot of times, actually all the times, the COs chip in as well and do work. And it just so happens, again, it was fortuitous for us that this particular crew, when it came out, there was a licensed electrician and a licensed plumber, so it just,
Saturday morning was the baseball parade, so what the sheriff did is, because there was gonna be kids around, they didn't send any inmates, and they had 5 of the guys from the sheriff's department. I was shocked, so there was nobody there because there was so many kids around. And then Sunday they came back out, so it's a great program, and yeah, we should thank them. Once we're done, we should send them a letter.
oh, very much so. I'll mention the fact that, and I haven't heard back yet, but the board had expressed some interest in me reaching out to Comcast in terms of the the upgraded equipment that has not been placed here in Hanson Town Hall yet, so I did reach out, and hopefully
Thanks, Mike.
Kathy Maloney will get back to me and let me know at least what time frame they're looking at. So, hopefully that puts it back on their radar screen if
Sure.
it did indeed fall off. Let's see, mention that. Kind of a fun thing, at least for me, I did receive word from National Grid that they will indeed provide us with 3 or 4 trees and pay for the labor to put the trees in for an Arbor Day celebration on April 28th. I know it's getting kind of close to the wire on that, but they have made that commitment, and I have been trying to decide, or at least find a place that I could recommend that some trees be planted. I would ask the board, not necessarily this evening, but if you have any ideas of where something should go.
Okay, where to plant the tree?
Yeah, well, actually, probably, like I said, it'll be 2 or 3, if not 4 trees. If you're aware of, again, of a place, since I've only been here, not even a year yet, you probably have a better idea where something would make sense to go. I thought about doing something here at Town Hall, but I'm not necessarily in favor of adding more trees here, because the space right now, you don't want to make clutter.
Too crowded, yeah.
Yeah, and we are still awaiting National Grid arrival to come and take a tree down over near the monument anyway, so.
You know who might be a good person to ask, Mike, is the tree warden, no?
Yep.
He might know, too. He might have a good idea.
Yep.
On something that maybe he recently took down, we could put something up.
Yep. So, if any of the board members over the course of the next week or so have any ideas, it's just real plug and play. When they show up to do it the day before Arbor Day, I can just point them in a direction and they'll take care of it.
Okay.
And that, again, will go a little bit further in terms of us getting certified as a Tree City USA, which is, just one of my fun projects that I like to do.
What type of trees, Mike?
Well, it's yet to be determined. We could go with evergreens, we could go with some flowering cherries. It's really, again, what we decide on in the end.
Okay.
I put in hawthorns, I put in a lot of different hardy things in different towns, so junipers, cedar. It just really, I think we'd have to decide on the location and what makes sense in that location.
Okay.
Because one of the things people don't, and I don't want to go too long with this, one of the things people don't think of when they plant a tree is what's it going to look like in 20 or 30 years? Is it going to crowd something else out? Is it going to pose a hazard to a building?
Right.
So it all depends on the location and what the maturity will be of that tree, the height and the caliper and the width.
So we have some homework to do.
Yeah, and that's my dissertation on trees. I know that the board, after the last meeting, had expressed some concerns, some questions about the zero waste contract. Waste zero, I always mess that up. What I'm asking for is representatives of the Board of Health to come to the April 25th Selectmen's meeting so we can have a discussion on where that particular program stands, the successes or lack thereof, if there are any. We will also have the town accountant there who can explain the figures and give his perceptions on whether it's a viable program going forward. So we can have that, again, I know that the board has had, after the fact, asked me some questions, some, I think appropriate questions, and hopefully we can have a forum and address all of that on the 25th and allay any fears or answer any questions or make any, move in any direction the board feels is appropriate.
And Mike, just for clarity, that contract is for bags only?
Well, it's for bags and monitoring the income back and forth from the bags.
Okay.
I have a question on that. How about the contract with the waste hauler?
That's not up yet.
That's right.
So that's something.
That wasn't a 3-year contract?
It was a 3-year contract, but it
That's
hasn't.
the one that expires June 30th this year.
Exactly.
So what happens with that one?
Well, we can have that discussion again on the 25th.
25th.
Yeah, I think everything's on the table for
Okay.
discussion in terms of that particular program. So again, we can do that on the 25th, and the board, if it wishes to make some decisions and move in another direction, we can.
One more thing on the Board of Health, when they come that day, can they speak to the citizens petition too that we supported for I'd like to know.
Oh,
why.
sure.
Septic loan.
Yeah.
Maybe they just forgot. I
Yeah.
don't know.
No,
I'd like to know why.
I think that's appropriate, sure. We can have them speak to that.
Just-
Certainly, yeah. We'll make sure that they're aware that
Thank you.
that'll
Mr.
be.
Chairman,
question as well.
Do you know if
Mr.
the,
Young.
through you to the town administrator, do you know if the Board of Health has taken any action on either of those at this point? Because I noticed on their agenda, the Waste Zero was on their agenda for last week.
No, I
See,
haven't
we
spoken
met.
with the chairman.
Yeah,
I haven't spoken with the chairman since, so, you know, we spoke about, you know, moving forward with the contract, but I haven't
Yeah.
spoken with her since.
Right.
So more to come on the 25th.
Yeah. Board of Health.
the interesting thing about that, and I brought it up with Mike, is that if you recall what happened 3 years ago, the selectmen seemed to have total control over that. They voted both of them, and the Board of Health got bypassed somehow. There was even a big ceremony here with Waste Zero
And this year it's the
and the whole
opposite.
9 yards, and now, all of a sudden, the thing disappeared, and the Board of Health is now in charge of it. So I'm wondering
Well,
what
again,
exactly happened there.
wasn't here, obviously, for any of that discussion a few years back, but typically you find in communities that those sorts of programs are overseen and administered by a Board of Health. So I'm not sure why it went in that particular
Well, I know
direction. Maybe
because-
it was more important to the Board of Selectmen at that point, or the Board of Health, as it was constituted back then, you know, de facto handed it over to the Board of Selectmen. I'm not sure of the history, other than what you provided to me, that obviously the Board of Selectmen was heavily involved.
Yeah, only
And-
it surprised me 3 years ago, because the Board of Health was always involved in the disposal of solid
Yeah.
waste.
It was my opinion that it was the town administrator at the time that took charge of it and thought that he had in charge of the program and took it and ran with it.
That-
That was my opinion.
Yeah,
Very
right.
well be.
It's all subjective. Right now, I
Yep.
can move forward, so.
Yep, that's right.
All right, two other things, Mr. Chairman. I wanted to mention that kudos go out to the police department and the highway department. We had an elderly citizen of Hanson go missing, a woman who unfortunately is suffering from Alzheimer's, wandered away from her home, and during the course of the broadcast over the emergency system that obviously the highway also has access to, Dave Hanlon actually did spot the woman and did call the appropriate authorities of the police department to come and successfully, you know, get her back to where she needed to be. So it was an example of a cooperation between departments, which I think is great. You know, we potentially saved a woman from harm or worse.
It was pretty quick, too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very quick. It was very quick. So again, I wanted to make sure that was mentioned. The last thing that I have is an update on where we stand with Plymouth County Hospital, as I tried to do it at all the selectmen's meetings. The asbestos debris in all locations, with the exception of the theater burn area, completely gone. It's all been removed. There was a bit of delay because of the wet weather that we experienced over the course of the last week or so. But the final removal of the last bit of it is tentatively scheduled for Thursday of this week. You may have noticed, if you've gone up there or looked at any of the pictures, that the chimney still stands.
Yeah.
There was an issue with the chimney. The DEP had some questions about what was incinerated in that chimney and whether or not there was going to be any contaminants, particular sorts of contaminants, when that comes down. The chimney ash will be contained by the contractor, and there'll be some sampling done this week, and the disposal will take place before the end of April. So again, that needs to be done in concert with DEP. There were some low levels of petroleum detected in the basement water samples. If some dewatering is required, carbon treatment will be used, and the decision on that to be made later this week. The demolition of the building, as I just mentioned, is complete with the exception of the chimney. All the outbuildings are gone. The Venegro, the contractor, is going to crush and place all concrete materials in the old basements and whatnot, as well as potentially using appropriate materials to fix some of the contours of the land that were dug out within the last 20, 30 years. So
Okay.
everything will stay on site. Hopefully, we won't have to pay to have any of the non-contaminated materials removed from the site. We'll try to spread it around and even some of the hills and dales and whatnot out. So
Mike, I have a question.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
once they're gone and they're done, all the contaminants will be removed from where the old hospital was?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
The only thing that will remain there is they will crush and pulverize. They've already started doing that, the old terracotta and the cement, the
That
non-contaminated.
actually saves us money.
Yeah, exactly, the non-contaminated cement. In addition to the fact that we're taking some of the street sweepings that we can take and using that as fill as well. So we're actually knocking down one of the larger mounds of materials that has collected over there as a result of our street operation. So it's a win-win-win-win on many, many different levels. And it's going along great. It's just going along great.
Thank you.
Excuse me, I talked to the Dave Hanlon, who's acting supervisor, surveyor, excuse me. They've been also using the town loader in working with the folks,
Yep.
which is a cost savings also, along with some of the materials from street sweeping.
Yes.
Saving the town a little money in that area.
It's been going on very, very well. I'm very pleased. And that is all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mike. Some great progress making in the town. Moving on to one-day liquor licenses. Do I read these individually, guys, or do you want me to read them all at once and then we vote on them?
All at once.
Okay. I have a Katie Kruskal, East Bridgewater, for Sunday, May 14th, from 5:30 PM to 10:30 PM. This is a wedding. Deborah Kruk, and from Hanson, Saturday, May 20th, 5 PM to 9 PM. This is a graduation. And Amy Amaral, Middleborough, Sunday, May 21st, from 4 PM to 10 PM. This is a wedding. Amanda Veloitis from Quincy, Saturday, May 27th, from 4 PM to 10 PM. That's a wedding. And Miss Amanda Ford, Middleborough, Sunday, May 28th, 5 PM to 10 PM, and it's a wedding. I would entertain a motion to accept these one-day liquor licenses.
So
as
moved.
read.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. 5-0 on the liquor license, Mary.
It's nice to see all those weddings coming in, huh?
Yep, yep. Committee reports, Monpont Pond Committee, Mr. Howard.
Monpont Pond Committee is meeting next Wednesday, the 19th, at the Halifax Town Hall. I finally got notification today. So I'll find
Excellent.
out more information.
On that time, great. Thank you, Donnie. The Indian Head and McQuon Priority Repair Committee, Mr. Young.
Nothing to report.
Nothing to report for that, okay. The Highway Building Committee, Mr. Scott.
Nothing to report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Final Plymouth County Hospital Committee update, please.
Mr. McHugh just kind of finished that.
I agree with you. Thank you very much, and great work.
I did go up there Sunday with my wife, though,
Just
and it
like-
looks great. Everything's down except the chimney, and all it's left to grind up the concrete.
That's terrific, Donnie. Good job on that, man. All right, and with that, I would entertain a motion to move to executive session to conduct strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigation position of the public body, and the chair so declares, administrative personnel, dispatcher, firefighters, and highway unions.
So moved.
Second.
Made and seconded.
Yes.
Call?
I'm in
Roll call
favor.
vote. Favor?
I'm in favor.
Yes.
5 on the favor. I want to thank you all for coming tonight, and when we adjourn, we will adjourn to regular meeting and end our, yep, why don't we take a 2-minute recess, please, Carol? Oh, we're done with you.
Carol's leaving anyways.
Sorry, Carol.
Going anyway.